Students, there is a small change in our plan. I thought that I will be continuing with the content of the textbook, but I thought that one more video, which is very, animated video, will be useful for you. I hope this video will give you more excitement and more exploration towards the. So let us watch this video, the amazing video. You can see the sperms entering into the vagina and it reaches the uterus. So this is how the uterus layer is seen under microscope. This is just animated only, not the real one, but it will be like this only. So you can see the egg will be in the place in the ampulla. Thousands, millions of sperms enters, but only one sperm is lucky enough to reach the egg. You can see how this motile sperms are very active and they try to compete each other and they would like to fuse the egg. But fortunately, only one out of million has a chance to enter the zona pellucida. You can see it dissolves the zona pellucida. Others not getting chance. Once one enters, others do not get chance. That is what we have seen in the schematic representation given in our textbook also. So what is taking place inside? So after one sperm enters, you can see enzymatic action. It will dissolve the zona pellucida. The nucleus of the sperm is released into the cytoplasm of the egg cell. And now the egg cell also have a nucleus and now these two cells fuse and this fusion of two gametes is called as a fertilization and now it is a single cell now. It is called as a zygote. This zygote further undergo division. At the same time, during the division, it just moves, slides, glide down and just come gradually downwards towards the uterus. And you can see this is the 4th stage. Now it is turning into 8th cell stage. And this cell stage is particularly called as a blastula stage. At this particular stage only, it is just going into the uterine membrane and it is getting embedded. ஸோ இந்த இடத்துல தான் அது எம்படட் ஆகுது, யூட்ரைன் வாலில் எம்பட் ஆகுது. எம்பட் ஆகணுன்னே அந்த யூட்ரைன் வால் அப்படியே ஃபுல்லாகவே அதை கேப்சர் பண்ணிடுது. ஓகே, இட் இஸ் எம்படட் நவ். The blastocyst, you can see this is embedded here. And you can see now the embryonic disc. Embryonic disc is formed. This embryonic disc comprises of 3 germ layer. You know already, just now we saw ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So from each germ layer, very many organs arises. And now you can see the first one. You can see, you can guess this one. This one would be probably a spinal cord. You can see that. And this is the 3rd month, maybe 2nd or 3rd month. You can see the first organ to clearly observe is the palpitation. This muscle is palpitating, and so it is heart. You can see that heart develops the very beginning itself. So 3rd month, you can see this is the placenta. You can see this is see this one. This is palpitating. Palpitating means it should be heart. You can see this heart. So gradually after 4, 5, 6 and 7th months, you can see a small limb. Limb is arising. Forelimb na நம்ம கை. You can see these limbs are arising. Gradually it develops The limbs arises as a bud and it gradually develops, and you can see a small arm is arising with the digits. So if it is 7th month only, these organs will develop. You can see the digits coming out from the forelimb. You can see gradually. And the hind limb also develops gradually, simultaneously. You can see this one. So the thigh, this is the thigh, and you can see the foot with the digits also developed. Nostrils and eyes. So beautiful, isn't it? This is completely an animated video. It's not the real one. But the real baby will be the same as this video presentation. You can see the ears. Eye is not actually formed, but the skull is formed. Eye is the organ which is formed after the 9th month only. Gradually you can see this baby is formed with all many features. The shape is changing totally. This is the fluid inside. Amniotic fluid. In the fluid only baby just floats inside. This fluid is very important. We will discuss now. The brain cells, brain tissues are formed. Many brain tissues, many neurons are interconnected. They are formed now. This is entire brain. Baby starts to move. So now let us resume with the content of the textbook. Fertilization and implantation. I thought that I will finish only this small topic, and Friday I believe that I have morning class, so I will complete the developmental stages of the fetus. Friday we will complete. I want today to complete this fertilization and implantation. This topic alone we will cover, right? Fertilization occurs when a haploid sperm fuses with a haploid ovum to form a fertilized egg or a diploid zygote. The sperm deposited in the female reproductive tract undergo capacitation, which is a biochemical event that enables sperms to penetrate, fertilize the egg. Fertilization occurs only if the ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously to the ampullary isthmic junction of the fallopian tube. இது ரொம்பவே important. நிறைய தடவை சொல்லியிருக்கேன், fertilization இந்த இடத்துல தான் நடக்குது. நல்லா ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. ampulla, isthmic junction of a fallopian tube. fallopian tube மூணு பார்ட்ல, ampulla பார்ட்ல இந்த fertilization takes place. Is it clear for you? Before a sperm can enter the egg, it must penetrate the multiple layer of the granulosa follicular cells which are around the ovum, forming a corona radiata. You know that we have already studied the structure of ovum, and we have 3 layers, isn't it? Corona radiata, zona pellucida, and plasma membrane. And the follicular cells are held together by adhesive cementing substance called hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid. Okay. The acrosomal membrane disintegrate the releasing the proteolytic enzyme hyaluronidase. So இந்த சிமெண்ட் பிரேக் பண்றதுக்கு இந்த என்சைம் தேவைப்படுது. இந்த என்சைம் எங்க இருக்கு? இந்த acrosome-ல இருக்கு. sperm-ல மேல head-ல acrosome-ல இந்த என்சைம் இருக்கு. Okay, so this will break this adhesive cement during sperm entry through the corona radiata and zona pellucida. This is called as acrosomal reaction. இந்த பிரேக் பண்ற விஷயத்தை தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம்னா acrosomal reaction. This is all chemical reaction, isn't it? Yes. Once fertilization is accomplished, cortical granules from the cytoplasm of the ovum forms a barrier called the fertilization membrane. Already we saw around the ovum, and further it will prevent the further penetration of other sperms. Thus, polyspermy is prevented. அப்ப question எப்படி இருக்கலாம்னா, how polyspermy is prevented? எப்படி இந்த polyspermy-ய தவிர்க்க முடியும் அப்படின்னா நீங்க எப்படி எழுதலாம்? இங்க இருந்து எழுதணும். So once fertilization is accomplished, cortical granules from the cytoplasm of the ovum form a barrier called fertilization membrane around the ovum, which will further prevent the penetration of other sperms. Thus, polyspermy is prevented அப்படின்னு எழுதணும். Is it clear for you? இங்க ஒரு question இருக்கு, ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. So இந்த paragraphல மட்டும் என்ன question இருக்குன்னா, what is acrosomal reaction and how polyspermy is prevented? ரெண்டு question இருக்கு இந்த paragraphல, right? So first cleavage produces two identical cells called blastomeres. These produces 4 cells and 8 cells and so on. இப்ப நான் பாத்தீங்க வீடியோல. Yes, after 72 hours of fertilization, a loose collection of cells forms a berry shaped, the berry மாதிரி இருந்ததுல, cluster of 16 or more cells called the morula stage, and under the influence of progesterone and smooth muscles, the fallopian tube relaxes and dividing the embryos takes place 4 to 5 days and move through the fallopian tube into the uterine cavity. 4 இருந்து 5 நாள் ஆகும் அந்த ampulla regionல இருந்து அந்த fallopian tube வழியா uterine cavityக்கு வரதுக்கு, and finally get implanted in the uterine wall. At this point, the embryo consists of fluid filled hollow ball of about 100 cells and called the blastocyst. So in the blastocyst many cells will be there, and cyst ஏன் சொல்றோம்னா இதுக்கு நடுவுல ஒரு seal, ஒரு cavity இருக்கு, அதனால தான் இது நம்ம அப்படி சொல்றோம் இந்த ஸ்டேஜ். The blastocyst is composed of a single layer of large flattened cell called trophoblast and a small cluster of 20 to 30 rounded cells called inner cell mass. I think you saw in the video. The inner cell mass of the blastocyst develop into embryo and becomes embedded in the endometrium of the uterus. And this process, embedded அப்படின்ற விஷயம், அதாவது இந்த எம்பிரியோ வந்து எண்டோமெட்ரியம்ல எம்பெடட் ஆகிற விஷயத்தை தான், அந்த ப்ராசஸ் தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம், இம்ப்ளான்டேஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். இம்ப்ளான்டேஷன். ஓகே. Yes. So you know what is trophoblast, inner cell mass, and you know what is blastocyst. And this embryo, when the embryo is implanted or embedded into the endometrium of the uterus, and that process is called as a implantation. If the fertilized ovum is implanted outside the uterus, it results in ectopic pregnancy. இதுதான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம்னா ectopic pregnancy அப்படின்றோம். ஓகே. அதாவது இந்த இது வந்து எங்க வரணும், யூட்ரஸ்ல வரணும். ஆனா இது ஃபெலோப்பியன் டியூப்லயே இருந்து இம்ப்ளான்ட் ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா ஃபெலோப்பியன் டியூப்லயே டெவலப் ஆடுற அந்த எம்பிரியோ தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம், எக்டோபிக் பிரெக்னன்சி. திஸ் இஸ் வெரி வெரி டேஞ்சரஸ் and this will lead to huge death. If the fertilized ovum is implanted outside the uterus, it results in ectopic pregnancy. About 95% of the ectopic pregnancy occur in the fallopian tube only, and the growth of the embryo may cause internal bleeding, infection, and in some cases even death due to the rupture of fallopian tube. கண்டிப்பா இது இந்த வளரும் போது என்ன ஆகும், இந்த fallopian tube expand ஆகும். யூட்ரஸ்க்கு தான் அந்த கெப்பாசிட்டி இருக்கு எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆகிறதுக்கு, 20 டைம்ஸ் எக்ஸ்பேண்ட் ஆகிறதுக்கு. ஆனால் ஃபெலோப்பியன் டியூப் கிடையாது. அதனால என்ன ஆயிடும், அது பர்ஸ்ட் ஆயிடும், ஃபெலோப்பியன் டியூப் பர்ஸ்ட் ஆயிடும். ஸோ ஆப்வியஸ்லி த ஃபீமேல் மே டை. So this is ectopic pregnancy is a very very serious issue that we need to understand. Ectopic pregnancy is dangerous. And next session we will see the further developmental process, maintenance of pregnancy and embryonic development in the next class. Thank you and have a nice day.